Hi, I'm Roger Brim, Director of Sponsorship Insights at Hookit, a business unit of Core Software. Welcome to Hookit's Beijing Olympics social media and sponsorship recap video. We'll cover the top athletes, sports, and brands promoted during the 2022 Winter Olympic Games. Before we dive into the data, here's a quick review of who we are at Hookit and what we do. Hookit, a business unit of Core Software, is the leading AI-powered sponsorship technology platform empowering brands and sports properties to evaluate and optimize their partnerships. As a pioneer in the SponTech space and strategic partner of the world's largest brands, Hookit empowers marketers to impact the bottom line by measuring sponsorship spend and partnerships against a standardized set of KPIs. In February 2022, Core Software acquired Hookit. With athletes, influencers, sports and entertainment organizations, and brands now engaging over 50 billion followers across social media, social and digital strategies have become a critical component for the modern partnership. By adding Hookit's unparalleled expertise in sponsorship performance tracking across social and digital media, Core has dramatically enhanced the capabilities of its already market-leading sponsorship management platform, serving buyers and sellers. The data gathered for this analysis is from social and digital channels, including Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, and YouTube. We tracked every athlete with at least 10,000 followers on any social media platform, totaling nearly 1,000 athletes, as well as the IOC, NOCs, international federations, and governing bodies. The date range for the data included was 2 weeks before the opening ceremony to 2 weeks after the closing ceremony. So January 21st, 2022 to March 6th, 2022. Let's start off by identifying the biggest names on social media during these games. There were a few athletes with major storylines coming into Beijing and others that made their mark during the games. The top athletes by total interactions and video views, what I'll call fan engagement going forward, was actually not a medal winner. American snowboarder MASTRO led all athletes by fan engagement, racking up 139 million interactions and video views on her 185 posts. How did she top all the biggest names and gold medalists? 94% of her posts and over 99% of her fan engagement happened on TikTok. She was also very active on social media, coming in with the third most posts among all athletes in the Beijing Games. Who else drove high fan engagement? 5 of the top 10 athletes by fan engagement were snowboarders, with Shaun White at number 2 with 130 million engagements, and Australian silver medalist Scotty James at number 4 with 41 million engagements. Rounding out the top 5 were Korean short track speed skating silver medalist Kwak Yoon-yi at number 3 with 42 million engagements, and Chilean freestyle skier Dominique Ohako at number 5 with just under 20 million engagements. Compare these top athletes to some of the big names. Downhill skier Michaela Schifrin generated 5.5 million engagements on 77 posts. Snowboard gold medalist Eileen Gu had 3.6 million on 14 posts. Figure skating gold medalist Nathan Chen had 2.6 million on 18 posts, and back-to-back halfpipe gold medalist Chloe Kim generated 2 million engagements on 15 posts. Note that all but one of the top 10 athletes by fan engagement posted at least 30 times, whereas some of these big names posted just half that many times. If you're a brand with athletes in the Olympics, work with them to stay as active as possible during these major career moments when they are in the spotlight. This can maximize their own profile, follower growth, and engagement, while also driving sponsorship value for your brand. Looking at trends across sports, snowboarders accounted for 60% of fan engagement on athlete posts. Skiers drove 13% of fan engagement, speed skaters 8%, and figure skaters 6%. No other sport had over 5% of total engagement when adding up all the athlete posts. Beyond fan engagement, the most active athletes on social media during the games were curling athletes, averaging 35 posts each, figure skaters averaging 24 posts each, and ski jumpers averaging 20 posts each. For comparison, snowboard athletes averaged about 18 posts each. Speed skaters saw the highest average fan growth rate with an average increase of followers of 64%. Figure skaters and curling athletes were the next highest, averaging 56% and 46% follower growth respectively. When it comes to sponsorship value, athletes in most sports averaged between $3,000 to $5,000 in AAV generated for brands. However, snowboarding athletes averaged over $13,000, led by MASTRO, Shaun White, Mark McMorris, and Chloe Kim, who each generated over $100,000 for their brand partners in sponsorship value. Only 11 athletes generated $100,000 or more in AAV for brands during these games. For comparison, 5 times that many generated $100,000 or more in AAV during the Tokyo Games, held just 7 months prior. Certainly, there are more athletes competing in the Summer Games, but as a brand, keep in mind that value from Winter Olympians really comes from the top athletes on social media. No single brand received over $1 million in sponsorship value during the Beijing Games. Nike led all brands in terms of number of branded posts with 4,100 and sponsorship value at $926,000 in AAV. Descente, Red Bull, Adidas, and Mizuno rounded out the top 5 brands by AAV, each receiving between $400,000 to $500,000 in sponsorship value. The IOC top sponsor with the highest AAV was Bridgestone, receiving $366,000 in AAV, 8th highest among all brands. Toyota received the most branded posts among IOC top sponsors with 857, coming in 9th overall and 2nd by AAV among top sponsors with $306,000. Omega, the leading top sponsor by AAV during the Tokyo Games, received the 2nd most branded posts among top sponsors with 554 and 3rd most AAV with $225,000, ranking 15th among all brands. No other top sponsor received over $100,000 in AAV from Beijing. By industry, sporting goods and apparel brands, which include ski and snowboard manufacturers, hockey equipment brands, as well as performance apparel brands, received 56% of all sponsorship value. With the clean nature of the games limiting brand exposure in and around the event venue, these logos on skis, helmets, jerseys, and more make up the majority of brand exposure. In fact, 2/3 of sponsorship value came from incidental logo exposure, while just 1/3 of sponsorship value came from deliberate promotion, which includes an intentional brand tag or mention in the caption of the post. On average, sporting goods and apparel brands like Nike received over 80% of their AAV from incidental logo exposure. In comparison, top sponsors like Bridgestone, P&G, and Visa receive 80 to 90% or more of their AAV from deliberate promotion. Outside of the top sponsors, Adidas, Nike, and Red Bull activated their partners the best, receiving the most deliberate branded posts. However, Grubhub, Bose, and Louis Vuitton had the highest average value per branded post among brands that received at least 5 branded posts during the games. Let's dive into Grubhub. It received the highest average value per branded post at $8,200 in AAV per deliberate branded posts on 6 posts by 3-star partners, Michaela Schifrin, Nathan Chen, and Chloe Kim. Each of these athletes posted once on Instagram and once on one of their other channels, either Twitter or Facebook. The 3 posts on Instagram by these partners averaged $15,000 in AAV per post, 10 times more than the 3 posts on Twitter or Facebook. This is a valuable lesson for brands. When you have a short-term partnership with a limited number of social posts by each partner, make sure they post about your brand on the social account where they get the most fan engagement in order to maximize the sponsorship value your brand receives. Well, that wraps up our analysis of the 2022 Winter Olympics in Beijing. Again, I'm Roger Brim, and from all of us at Hookit and Core Software, thanks for watching, and be sure to check out some of the other Insights videos on the Hookit blog. Reach out to us at insights@hookit.com if you have any follow-up questions about the data or insights in this video.